Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Youngbox.
Welcome to the Johnny Youngbox panel, hosted by Johnny Youngbox.
This is what it's all about. He's the man, the myth, the legend.
What panel is this?
You deserve, this is the Dragonball Z Q&A, so.
So this is where he like we quiz you on your Dragonball Z. No, really, they're just gonna ask.
That's it. We got.
I don't really have a whole lot of information. Yeah, it's on. Isn't that great? They just need to turn it on. Check.
Oh.
Check.
Try the other mic.
Yeah, try the other one too.
Yeah, just grab another one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I scream a lot in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we won't ask you to do it today. Your voice.
So how do you protect your voice when you're screaming all that much?
I don't.
I didn't think so.
There's no way of protecting it when if you're really screaming, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I wasn't truly screaming, you'd be able to tell, you know, and then it would take you out of it, the experience, you know, like whatever emotion I'm going through. If I'm not fully giving it out, you're gonna be like, what's going on? Yeah, I remember I was at a convention and there's a person that came up and said, I have a friend that sounds just like you. He's done like a fan dub of Rent and Thurston. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they sent me a link to it and I checked it out that night. And he sounded pretty good until he got to the screams. And the screams were like, ah, you know, I'm like, do you not want to wake up your mom in the next room? I'm like, I don't feel the emotion at all, you know? It's like, well, that's, you know, you gotta really give it up, you know? I mean, some people can scream forever, and, you know, if you're musically trained maybe, then you have different techniques, but...
I mean, unless you're doing like an ASMR version of the show. That's what we started the day with, so you can just...
Yeah, instead of the screams and the whisper.
Just Well, that's it, Johnny. You've been, it's good to have you here with us this weekend. That's cool.
Am I early?
No, you're on time.
Oh,
Everybody
You're
else
on
is
time,
late.
everybody else is just on their way.
Oh, okay.
But
They're
yeah,
gonna
that's
arrive fashionably late.
I see.
But since you were at yesterday's panel, we thought we'd give some bonus time. Just
Yeah, all right. Well, let's just do some Q&A until they show up. Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can say your things, yeah. All right, we'll start right here.
Hi, John. I'm a huge fan of your work.
Thank
Especially, obviously, one of the characters that you lasted the longest was, of course, Ichigo as in Bleach.
Yeah.
So my question is, obviously, of course, as you know, sometimes in anime, after a certain time, they eventually come back in some way or form. In which case, obviously, Bleach is finally coming back with brand new anime. Now that they're finally,
Is it?
They're finally adapting the rest of what the manga they originally did. So my question is, after a certain time, you know, over the years, you know, especially with people who were part of the Dragon Ball, who are just starting now, since obviously you guys weren't part of Dragon Ball back then, do you ever consider returning back to those roles even after so long, or do you ever think that, oh, maybe we should give someone else a chance to voice these, do the dub for these, and all, even though, you know, I'm probably still young, or I can still do the voices and all, let's give someone else a chance to do
No, I never want to give somebody else a chance. It's mine. It's mine. Well, no, okay, so if I've worked on something and it's coming back, I would, I don't think there's any case where I haven't wanted to come back. I would definitely want to come back. If Bleach comes back, I know that they announced that they were working on it, but also in that same announcement, they said, we're not sure about the English. So, I don't know, I would love to, but none of that is ever up to us anyways. You know, that's all up to whoever's got the money and whoever's in charge. You know, and really though, the power lies in the fans. If that's something you want, I think the reason why they're doing it is because you guys are like, hey, we want more, what the heck's going on here? So when they realize, oh wait, there's plenty of fans that want to see this, then yeah, they do it. So yeah. I'm not opposed to really having somebody else take over, you know, as long as it's one of those, like, kind of passing the torch to somebody, it's cool, you know. But if they're just like, man, they just changed, they're just going to change it up, you know, there's got to be a reason for it. Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, I mean, if, like, Devil May Cry, so Devil May Cry 4, I went to Japan, I did the motion capture and all that, and I did the voice as well. but then I had to audition again for part 5. Because all of us did, actually. They made us audition because they were like, well, it's almost 10 years later. We don't know how old you guys are. Can you guys still move? Can you still do motion capture stuff? But I get it. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Elizabeth's here.
Yeah,
Yay,
please.
welcome.
Welcome to the council, everybody. Very good. You have a good convention so far?
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you had the pleasure of missing our ASMR entry that we had for Dragon Ball.
It was fun. We had a nice quiet introduction. We were
Alternate universe.
changing the universe.
That's
Totally different world. Anyway, does anybody else have any questions for our panel here? Anybody? Surely you've got
There's
some.
gotta be somebody has a
Wow,
question.
that's what I thought.
It's a
Here we go.
Q&A question panel.
So for you guys, I know you guys do plenty of roles, but what roles typically get like the biggest fan feedback of like, man, I love that character, or man, I remember you from a long time ago. What are those like characters that people to this day still come up to on a more regular basis?
Well, your career spans a little longer than mine, so.
You just said I'm old. He's like, you're older.
I'm older.
Yeah, you are. Jason! You have like a couple that people are always asking about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, right now, I'd say, I feel like Dragon Ball is maybe the most popular anime of all time, and so, you know, Dragon Ball, and then I feel like My Hero Academia might be like the most popular anime right now. So those are two really big ones. And
Hey, Jason.
Did you run?
well, here, let me give you this mic.
Race walk? Is that fair?
Race walk?
Yeah. Race walk.
And walking
And
is a
moving
thing at
too.
the Olympics this year. It counts.
Walking with efficiency, yeah.
Here, you
That
can have
might
this
be
one.
fun.
I'll move over.
One of them was having a little trouble with us earlier, so yeah.
We don't. I guess we can just do. I was trying to get you guys straight. I guess we can do
It's a nice team family. Let's see.
This is a much more intimate gathering.
Panel here at the Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, there we go.
We're
Go.
Alright. I always end up on the split. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, that's the
Let's
worst.
take that this time so you don't
It's
have
like
to worry about the
Thanksgiving,
board.
you always bump your knees on that corner.
Yeah.
There's always something, right, guys?
At least I have an excuse for man spreading.
No, but there's a thing here, I always have to check, because I'm like, I don't want your eye level to be my crotch. You know?
So my apologies, everybody. I tend to be the ingredient that makes whatever the topic is go off the rails completely. So my apologies. I just will start talking about whatever's happening at that moment because that's the way my brain works. Anyway, hi.
You can answer his question if you want.
What was the question?
He asked,
What are
like,
some of your top
Who asked
roles
this
that
question?
people are coming across?
You asked this question.
People ask about.
yeah, like that people still know you for, or they always know you for.
Oddly enough, Yato from Noragami is one that sticks around for a long time, despite the hiatus in production. I hope that it comes back. But it's been, what has it been, 6 years, 7 years? It's been a long time. But the fact that people still come up to me like, you're Yato! Like, that's pretty amazing. And she's right, Dragon Ball is, immortal.
Every year for my birthday, when I make a wish before I blow out the candles, I wish for Noragami Season 3.
I've started writing on all of my Yato prints. Deliver me a season 3, please. Just in the hopes that maybe if I put that into the universe in enough people's hands that, you know. But it's the same studio that makes My Hero, so my thinking is they probably are following that money.
Alright, so usually Bleach, so Ichigo or Vash, Lelouch and Code Geass, Power Rangers, but you know, that's not anime. Right? Yeah, they keep threatening to do some anime, right? So those are, I guess, a couple of them. Demon Slayer is becoming. Here's the thing: is like a lot of times when they come across my table, it's usually like, "Oh, I liked you in Power." Wait, you were in Demon Slayer? You know, it's always like that. You know, it's like, "Oh, I saw you. I love Ichigo, but wait, you're also that character." That's why I usually have my spread. I'm like, I need a couple tables to throw a couple things out there so people go, "Oh yeah, all right."
That's like my One Piece character who's the same sort of thing. They'll come up for Dobby and they're like, "Oh wait, you're Rob Lucci?" Yeah.
It's
Or
fun.
a guy like point at the image behind me and be like, and I'm like, "Yeah, Rob Lucci's like, yeah, I know." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of fun though, because it's like, oh yeah, I snuck in there. You didn't know. That's awesome.
Great, looks like we've got a question over here.
For Johnny, hi. For Johnny, I didn't know you was playing the guy from Yokai Watch or Brock from the Pokemon Orange.
Yeah. My name is Nate Adams. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun actually. I had a good time in Yokai Watch, you know, until they replaced us in season 3, I think it was. We were SAG, and then they wanted to go non-union, but then at that actually we were non-union, and then we convinced them to go SAG, which was great for us, and then they wanted to go back to non-union, but then it's like, well, we can't go back, you know, that we'll get in trouble, and so it was like, yeah, SAG can't do it, so they ended up replacing us. Yeah. But we did a couple of games, we did plenty of episodes, it was fun.
So you keep your, see this is what I'm talking about. You keep your full SAG status or you fight for these days?
I am FICOR. I went FICOR years ago, and then, you know, the merge, and nobody's said anything yet, so I'm waiting for them to, you know, say something. You know, I don't
got
think
to
they
pull
will.
the trigger on it myself, just because I have to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You just, especially, I don't think they can say anything, really. It's like, well, what do you expect me to not work? You know, I gotta take whatever I can get.
It doesn't have that, I don't feel like it's got that same sort of, anyway.
You need to be Tom Cruise. You need to be Tom Cruise for the union to really kind of help you out.
Yeah.
All right, my question is for Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Hi, Elizabeth. I'm Chris. Hi, to be one of the very first, like, openly, like, fighting female characters in Dragon Ball Z, how did it feel when that was approached to you to get that role? Because if I'm not mistaken, she does go Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan 2.
So, like, the first female Super Saiyan in the universe.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. I'll be honest, so I watched a lot of anime growing up, but I didn't watch Dragon Ball, because my brother was the one that brought all the anime into the house, and so I just watched what he watched. And so I actually did not understand, like, the import of who, like, Caulifla and Kale were until I got into the studio, and the director for that was Raleigh, and he kind of, like, sat me down and said, "Now, you need to know. This is very, like, you know, this is a monumental event in Dragon Ball universe." And it was a huge honor. I mean, I feel like I am really lucky in that I get to play a lot of really strong, badass women. And I mean, there are a lot of female anime fans out there, and I know there are a lot of female Dragon Ball fans. And it's been very rewarding to, like, have ladies come up to me and be like, "Oh, it's so awesome to see, like, female Super Saiyans finally in the universe." So, yeah, it's really kick-ass.
We got one back here, actually, all the way in the back here. We'll take this one.
Who's next?
Oh, you got it.
So my question is, my husband and I just finished finally watching Super, and of course with the Tournament of Power. And I was curious as to where obviously people have, like, what universes they're rooting for, but was there any particular universe that any of you were rooting against? Like, you couldn't wait to see them all get disqualified?
Which one is Barry sitting in?
Yeah, that one.
Which one did you pick?
That one can go away. That's all right.
Mr. Boss, hi, my name is Cornell, and I, as the most recent addition to the Dragon Ball franchise cast, I have a particular question. If you actually had all 7 Dragon Balls, what would you wish for? Now keep in mind, you have a total of 3 choices to choose from.
Goodness. And I can't wish for more wishes? Well, let's see. I get 3 wishes. Well, you know, the first thing I would think of would be like to live forever, but I don't know if I want to live forever. Could eat whatever I want and not gain weight. That'd be kind of cool. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. It's you know, it's funny. Like I think when I was a kid, I maybe could have fired some of these off. You know, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I would wish for. But now, as I just know that you can't. It doesn't matter because you could never get that wish, whatever that wish would be. You know, financial freedom, that'd be wonderful. Just to be able to do my own projects, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, I guess I really probably should start thinking about that. This is the kind of questions I'm going to start getting. Because I have not done any. Sorry, I have not done any Dragon Ball anything because I really can't talk about much of it because I don't know enough of it. I've only done a few of the games, and I don't even know what games are out that I worked on. Like I know fighters, but there have been other things I've worked on, and I'm not sure if it's added into that or because I know there are additional things, but I don't know exactly what I can talk about. So, right, yeah, okay, okay, good. Because like you're talking about universe stuff, and I'm like, there's different universes.
I know for a fact that's not
man. Oh, okay, yeah. I need to get I need a Dragon Ball. Like I thought there was only 5 Dragon Balls. I didn't know there was 7 of them, and I have one of them. It's like 5 stars in it, sitting on my desk in my studio. I'm like, all right. There you go. Yeah. No, then I'll start making wishes. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, my name is Josh. This question is for all of you guys. So when you each got, already at rephrasing that, when you each were phone called about Dragon Ball, how did that situation go? Like when you got the first call for being the voices for those actors.
Well, Jason will probably explain this. Sometimes some actors have auditioned for Dragon Ball and some kind of are hand-selected and just read for approval from Toei. For Caulifla and Kale, they actually put out like a large audition for it. And I remember that Chris Sabat actually called me to tell me that I got the role, which was my first indication like, oh, this must be a big role. Like, this must be a big deal, because nobody ever calls you to tell you that you got a role. Like, it's all email. Mike McFarlane called me to tell me that I had gotten Attack on Titan, and Chris called me to tell me about Dragon Ball, and that's it, ever. So, I was very excited, even if I didn't quite know what it meant yet.
Yeah, my first Dragon Ball role was Tapion, and what was the name of that movie? Anybody remember the name of that movie where he was Trunks' son? Wrath of the Dragon. That's right. That's a good name. How could I forget that? But that one was just basically I finished a session in a studio, and a director came and pulled me in, and they're like, "I think we're gonna make you this for this." And so that's how that went. Like literally, just they're doing another job. They're like, "Hey, you finished early. Why don't we get cracking on this movie?" Like, and we all know that happens sometimes. And then the next two, it was similar to Elizabeth's situation in that with Trump, Sabat called me and he's like, "Hey, I think I found a good character for you. Why don't you come in and record an episode and I'll send it to Japan for approval and we'll see what happens." So that's how that one went. And with Jace for Kai, we worked on something else where I used an accent, and he was like, "Man, I think your accent's better than mine. Why don't you take over Jace for me?" So, Spike's Australia lives. What? But yeah, no, it was pretty low key. I didn't have anything like Elizabeth, where it's like, this is a groundbreaking moment, and the world is changing. But it was still cool.
Hello everyone. This question's for all of you. If any of the characters that you voiced previously were on a 24/7 basis, who would it be and why? And also,
It wouldn't be Broly, because he just screams all the time.
Would it be Nero then?
Sort of narrate a typical day in your life as that character?
When you want us to do that right now?
I think I have to go.
Actually, it was that I do not have enough time to answer that question.
Well, part of it.
Go for it, babe.
Oh, I don't know. I have to think about that. I like a lot of my characters, but I don't know if I'd want to inhabit them. Some of my characters have to deal with some pretty crappy situations, pretty crappy people. Ooh, let me think.
Yeah.
That's true.
Be
And
midnight.
It also calls for good
Oh,
improv
I don't want to be midnight. Maybe Urbosa. She's freaking awesome and she's a queen. So, you know.
Wait, is that from Zelda?
Yeah, Breath of the Wild.
I'm going through Breath of the Wild right
Oh, yeah,
now.
you got
Yeah.
the Naruto challenge?
Oh yeah, no. I've beaten all the beasts. I'm just like trying to find all the shrines. There's a lot of shrines. Yeah. But everything I do is like in the world. I love it though. I'm not in it. I just love playing it. I have it with me. It's all charged up, ready to go on the plane. But like, you know, it's just the world keeps opening up. You know, it's pretty cool. I'm a fan. I need to get your autograph.
For your new Urbosa tattoo, you get a signature on it. Just. I don't think I want to be any of my past dudes for forever. That's especially recently my roles. They've got some some deep dark damage. Like for a second there, I thought about my characters from Darker Than Black, and then I thought like, wait, he's got a problem with alcohol. He's really surly. He's basically Batman, so he doesn't sleep much. I mean, it seems cool for a night, but all the time, 24/7. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't know.
I don't want to be any of my characters. I like being them for a little bit through a series or whatever, that's just enough. I wouldn't know how to narrate or who to narrate. Ichigo usually is woken up by his dad, jumping on his face or something.
Huh. That's a thinking, man.
So Jason and I do have to leave in just a minute to catch our flight back before the hurricane
because it just
makes it so we can't leave. But if anybody has like a really quick question, can I answer one more quick question?
No, one right there. I just want to know what your favorite anime for personal viewing pleasure happens to be, and your favorite character from that show.
Ooh, I'm gonna give you a two-parter. My favorite OG anime is Escaflowne, but my new favorite anime is Fruits Basket. The series.
So I should get your autograph too, Johnny, because my favorite old school thing is Akira, the original film. Yeah, I watched that many times with your voice in it. Yeah, sometimes I forget that when I'm hanging out with you. I'm like, oh man, I really liked it, and I still do. Anyway, so that's the old answer, and new one. Honestly, it's one that I was in with Leah Clark called Eden of the East, and it's the only anime I've been in that I think would really directly translate well to a live action miniseries, and it would be awesome. Yeah. I don't know which character though. I love my guy, he's pretty cool, but that whole world's pretty cool.
Alright,
Oh, and his name's Akira Takizawa, I just occurred to me. It's the same answer.
wait, so it's anime that I watched, right? Personally? Alright, there's a couple of them. I like Battle Angel, Alita. I liked Ninja Scroll. Have you guys who's seen Ninja Scroll? Yeah, so I remember watching it, and my mom had walked into the room. And so my mom started watching it with me, and then stuff is happening, certain ninjas with their abilities, and it's like, I didn't know this was gonna happen, Mom. This is very uncomfortable. Jubei. Yeah, those are cool ones. Or Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust. I don't remember any of the actual characters' names, but those are the ones, that I watched. Aside from Speed Racer.
Not too shabby, guys. Elizabeth and Jason, I know you guys have to go. Do you have time for one more? You get to go.
No, we do have to go.
In
I'm
that
so
case,
sorry.
thank you so much for both being here, Jason.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Keep us safely. Thank you very much for your
Johnny, do you have time for one more question?
Yeah.
Here we go.
I don't have to leave you. I appreciate it. So, you guys
Thank you.
Take care. Stay safe. Till next time, brother.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Ask them the same question as you. What are y'all thoughts on the Zack Snyder upcoming Dragonball Z movie that's coming out?
Zach, he's doing it?
Yep.
I'm about to say, was that approved?
I never heard that was confirmed at the moment.
I know that was rumored.
Well, I think he's got a good visual style. I don't know how well I don't think he tells the stories that well, you know? But he is a great visual director. Like, I like his style, you know? Like, I can watch the film and look at it and think that's pretty. But as far as the story, I don't know. You know? I mean, what was that? Oh, Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That was sad. That was probably the worst ever. Huh? Oh, it'll be better than that for sure. You know. But I wouldn't want it to be like a 4-hour film. You know. We just kind of make it short, sweet. You know. Get to the point. I don't know. He is a good visual director, though. I just don't know that he tells stories in the best way.
Do we have any other questions? From anybody? Oh, somebody in the
There's
front.
one in the back there. I'm going to go back there with you.
I was going to race you.
You would have beat me, but now I'm already this far.
Oh, race you. You said something else.
I hear you.
Is that what you heard?
I heard that too.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Johnny.
Hi.
Just wanted to ask you, I've started to get into voice acting as a hobby. I've done a few bit parts for Power Rangers, the audio drama. And I did a lot more theater so like on stage rather than voice acting. I'm wondering, what are your skills for like really getting into the zone for voice acting as opposed to on set
You want to
or
know my
on theater
secrets?
acting? Yeah, I'm coming for you,
My
man.
secrets?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It's probably very similar. I mean, you're an actor, so it's the same sort of thing as just kind of, you really have to become that character. So if you don't have a backstory for that character, you create one, right? You have to be able to believe you're in whatever situation they're in, and just, so that you can commit 100%. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell you my secrets. My secrets. But it depends also if it's a game, if it's an anime, and whatever else. I do have different things I do. Sometimes you don't have time to do much, But any of the things that you've learned as an actor or are still learning as an actor, it's all the same stuff, And I'm sure for everyone it's a little bit different. I'll give you an example. Actually, there's a studio that I used to work at, and everything's closed down, but, and I remember they would call me Boring Johnny. And the reason they called me Boring Johnny is because they would have other actors in there, and who are maybe more comfortable, and they could just go in and they could start making jokes, and whatever, and then they'd start playing that character. And in between, make a joke with the director, play the character, make another joke. For me, I have to stay in there. I know that kind of sounds like a method, but I'm not. It's like I do have to focus on where I'm at. If I start joking, and in fact, on Bleach, my first director would constantly tell me jokes and stuff, and it kind of bothered me a little bit. And then I would turn off the lights in the booth, and so all I had was the screen, so that I could just focus on where I was at, who I was, and what I'm supposed to be doing, even though I'm trying to tune out these jokes, so that I could stay committed to what I'm doing. It actually did really bother me. But that other studio called me Boring Johnny because I wouldn't joke with them. I'd be like, I'd do one of those kind of things, but I'm like, I'm here to work, because my thought is this: if I joke, and then I kind of give this, whatever, just like a phone-in a performance, you guys are going to be paying attention to this thing and thinking, what's going on here, And not that I haven't had a situation where I'm like totally distracted or something, or the dialogue's really weird, but it's like I would prefer to be able to focus on this thing. And then before or after, I don't mind joking around. But like as I'm working on it, I like to just be able to stay in the scene. Otherwise, you know, you lose it. You know, like working on Code Geass, there are moments when my character is breaking down, and I felt that same feeling, you know, or in Wolf's Rain or whatever. Like I felt that same emotion, and so then it's real in that sense. And then so for you, that because if I'm committed, then you're going to hear that, and you know, or at least feel it, and it's not going to take you out and be like, dude, it's just another job or whatever for him, you know. So anyway, so yeah, I guess ultimately just to find a way to be committed to that character, you know, even if they call you boring. Being focused.
Good question. Okay, can you hear me?
I hear you. I can't see it all. Yes.
Okay, so my question is, did you see yourself becoming like an actor or voice actor? And if you did become like an actor or voice actor, what else would you have done for a career choice?
Wow. I always wanted to do action on television. You know, I grew up in Texas, and then had my chance when I saw the audition for Power Rangers, so I got to do that, and it was awesome. I never knew voiceover was going to be a thing that I could do. I was just in the right places at the right time. I'll just tell you that real quick. So the Japanese stunt team from Power Rangers, they wanted to shoot an action film. They knew I could do action, so they brought me on to play the lead in that. But for whatever the reason, the audio didn't work, and so I had to dub myself for the film when they finished editing it. And so while I'm there dubbing myself, the producer walks in and he hears my voice. He's like, hey, you got a good hero voice. And he asked me to come audition for Trigon. I auditioned for that, and I booked the role. So it was really just a total fluke, right place at the right time. And I just happened to do the right things for him to be like, okay, yeah, you sound right for this. So it was not anything that I saw that I was going to do. And I don't know what I would have done. Like, I know I wanted to do film, and I was going to film school, or I had registered, and I was in the dorms when I got the call back for Power Rangers. So that was definitely the direction I was heading. Now, like, I mean, years later, like after Power Rangers, I learned how to play the guitar. That's another long story. But then I formed the band I Shine, which became Where Giants Fall, which we have a new album coming out in November-ish. I'm hoping November. It's done. We've got so many other things going on. But anyhow, yeah, so I'm not sure. And so if I couldn't do any more acting now, then I would definitely just put all my focus into doing music. But I don't know. Then, you know, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a ninja. Yeah, right? Yeah.
So this probably isn't going to be super interesting to everybody, but I've also been thinking about switching to FICOR, but I can't find out anything about it through SAG's website. What advantages have you found to being FICOR as opposed to?
It might be hard. I don't know if it's probably not like public knowledge, I don't know. You know, I don't know if they're really kind of like, I don't know if you can do it anymore. I just don't know how it's working anymore. But back in the day when all I was getting was non-union work, I was like, well, I have to do this. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to feed my family. And so, yeah, I went FICOR back then, and I've just kept that. There was no reason for me to go to SAG because majority, if not all the work I was doing was non-union at that time. Now it's a little bit of both, you know. I don't know. What you would have to do. The benefits for me is that you can work both sides. I really think I really don't think that they care unless I became, you know, a big name actor, which I don't see happening, you know. Then they'll probably say, hey, like, you gotta stick to SAG or whatever. But I'm not, you know, I don't pull that much weight. You know.
Well, you're a hard worker, a great guy, though. So
Right.
you've got a long storied career with twice as much ahead of it. It's fantastic. Yeah, just keep working.
Who knows, man? COVID's gonna get us all.
It's a day at a time. Can I ask you, how had that changed? Obviously, production stopped for a lot of things, but
yeah,
how were you affected by that?
Well, I couldn't go into the studio anymore, but thankfully, because of my band, I had my own studio and mics and all that stuff, which that stuff is super expensive, you know. And it took me many years to acquire the right equipment. You know, you need $3,000 microphone, $3,000 preamp, and then of course you have to have all the software.
But I did have to upgrade a couple things in order for them to be able to record higher quality through the internet or the phone line. And so, yeah, I mean, it was making adjustments and saying, all right, well, I got to pay for this, you know. And then there was no work for me for a while at the start of COVID. Now I had shot. I'm gonna have to backtrack a little bit. Is that okay? So in 2019, and forgive me if I've already talked about this, but in 2019, I had prepped for about 10 months to shoot an action film, and so. And the goal was to, because like you guys, you've supported my career for over 25 years, from Power Rangers to anime to voiceover, and I'd done, you know, other like crowdfunding projects, you know, and some kind of fell through, and I felt bad, and I was like, you know what, you guys have always been there, you've supported even my band, and so I wanted to do something, so I was like, you know, I just want to shoot an action film, I'm going to put my own money into it, and then just give it to the fans as a thank you. And then hide a bunch of, like, you know, fan servicey stuff in the background. You know, like a bunch of Easter eggs. Anyway, so prepped this film for about 10 months, and then like a week before, it fell apart. And then so, because it wasn't just me financing, another person was financing as well, but then they kind of backed out at 1 week before actual shooting. And so that meant that in January 2020, when we were supposed to shoot, all those people that were supposed to be working did not have a job if I just kind of tried to pull out, but then I'd also lose a lot of money. And so I thought, well, you know what, maybe I've got a week. I'm gonna try to write something else. And so I scrambled, I wrote something else with Kyle Higgins, who wrote, you know, some of the Power Ranger Boom stuff. And he helped me out, and we wrote like this sci-fi action film. And so we only had 4 days to prepare before shooting at that point, and then we shot a film called Arc Exodus. And I have flyers at my table, or Jason Narvi has it. Narvi also produced it. And so it's a 40-minute sci-fi action film. And so now that's my gift to everyone. Instead of a full feature length, that's all we could really do. And there are things hidden. There's Ichigo was here somewhere on the wall in the background. There's some band stuff. There's a Black Ranger helmet hidden somewhere. So I prefer you to watch the film and then go back through it and try to find those things.
It's got rewatchability. That's
yeah, we're releasing it October as a thank you. So anyway, so I shot that, and then I had no job for a bit because of COVID shut us down in February. And so I had like a visual effects guy who was supposed to do stuff, but because of COVID, he was in the process of moving, couldn't do it. So I spent 3 months learning how to do visual effects. And so I did all the visual effects in that. And then my band scored the film, and I did all the sound design in it. And so it was the hardest thing I've ever had to work on. But I'm glad that I went through it, you know, because it really kind of opened up what else in my life, and I think in all of our lives. I think once you get to that point where you have to struggle or you're outside your comfort zone, then you really kind of develop even more, you know.
And you've got skills you didn't have before.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, it was a moment where I was like, well, I guess I have a production company now, and a studio, and so and so we've done a couple other short feature films, not films, but features, or films, short films, that's what I'm trying to say. Sunday, guys. And so anyway, so yeah, we're just gonna be doing more, and you know, if people like Arc Exodus, hopefully we can do additional episodes and whatnot. But yeah, I think I kind of answered the question in a long way.
I think we have time for one more question. We have a hand up over here.
Excellent, we'll start there.
I don't know if I can ask this question, so
You can try. I don't know if I can answer it. We'll try.
So, do you have anything coming up soon dealing with Dragon Ball?
That's actually, I don't know. Because I know I've done stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's only for game stuff. But I don't know if it was for the games that are out, or if it's something coming up. I'm not even sure if I can say that. They didn't tell me. I just know usually when you work on something, you just don't talk about it. You know, that's why I was also kind of like, I'm not sure if I should go to this. Because I don't know a whole lot.
There's some common knowledge and some not common knowledge.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing to say is that Johnny is an accomplished voice actor who
And he doesn't know
anything
anything.
in the future. Yeah.
I don't know anything. All I know is I did do Dragon
What he
Ball
means to say.
Fighters. Anything else, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
although I don't know. I can say I've done some other stuff, but I don't know what it's on.
Who knows? It's somewhere. We'll see.
You guys want?
Yeah,
I can end on a story. How much time do I have? Does somebody have to come in here?
Yeah, I was just gonna say thank you, Johnny. But yeah, by all means, go ahead and tell your story.
Anybody else go for it?
I'm gonna end on a story.
Absolutely.
Well, let me ask you guys. Have you guys heard my quarter story?
One of the greatest stories.
I haven't heard it, so I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hear it too.
All right, go through it. I'll try to go through it fast.
It's a good closure. Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get out of here. Go back to my table. So, this was a few years ago, when I was still kind of working on Bleach. I had to take the freeway to get to work, obviously take the freeway to get back home. And so I take there's like the off-ramp, and there's a signal light down in the corner. There's always like a homeless person down on the corner, but in my car, it feels kind of weird because I'm strapped in, so I typically just kind of ignore the person and continue on. Because I feel like, I have to explain myself. Like if I'm strapped in, I feel weird. Like if I'm trying to, I feel like they could jack me and I don't know, beat me up or something because I'm strapped in. I'm like, I don't know, it feels weird. And so I never really gave on that corner. And plus, it's like, it's right, what if it turns green? So anyways, this one day, I exit the off-ramp, and it's a red light, and there's like 4 or 5 cars in front of me, good distance away, so maybe from here to that, whatever that column is, or maybe a little bit further than that. And so I'm in my car, and behind me pulls up this monster truck, and it's just towering over, has tinted windows, I can't see who's in it, but all I can do, I can feel the vibration of this person, this monster truck, because they're revving. So it's like, and I feel it, and I kind of get this anxiety, this panic, and I'm thinking, and I visualize, as soon as this thing turns green, it's like, monster man, he's gonna run us all over, right? And I'm like, why is he revving? And I assume it's just some guy. It could be some old grandma in there, just, and I'm feeling kind of a little bit panicked. And I have these leftover carrots in the Ziploc bag that I had left over from lunch, and I'm like scarfing them down like my last supper. And I look over, expecting to see a homeless guy in the corner, and I see a homeless woman. And it's like one of the first times I really saw a homeless woman. My heart just kind of, in that moment, just went out to her, and I was like, man, that could be like my mother. How would you feel, Johnny? If that was your mother, what would you do? And I just remember thinking that. I'm like, you know what? That's right. I should do something. I'm going to do something this time. I'm not going to ignore them this time. And so I finished these carrots. And so now I have this empty Ziploc bag. And in LA, you have to pay for parking everywhere you go. So I have my cup holders full of quarters. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give her all these quarters. And so I scoop up all these quarters, and I fit them into this bag. Now this bag's like tight, and it's heavy. I'm like, I don't know how much is in here, but it's a lot of money. Go get a shower, clean up, maybe get a job. I don't know. And I'm feeling good, feeling proud of myself. And so I roll down the window, and again, like 4 or 5 cars in front of me, a good distance away, and I put my hand out like this. I've never done this before. Put my hand out like this. And then she sees me. She has a sign, and she's like this, and she's like, she puts her sign down, and she goes like this. And I was like, wait, you're not going to come get it? I was like, and I'm trying to motion to her, I don't know how this works. Can you come get it? I can't throw it that far. And I don't know what to do, and I'm just sitting there like, how does this work? And then the light turns green. And so I think everyone in front of me must have also felt the vibration of the monster truck because they just took off, right? And so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I gotta go. And so I start going. Monster truck is right on my tail. And then I look down, I'm like, wait, I'm going too fast. I can't slow down and give it to her. And I look at, and I'm like 20 miles an hour. I'm like, holy cow, this is like a 3-pound bag of quarters. How's this exchange gonna happen now? And like, what if she hangs on to it too long, and I pull her under my car and she dies? What if I hang on to it too long and I get drawn out? I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't just throw it in her gut. She's like, oh good, I'm so, I'm panicking. I'm 20 miles an hour, 3-pound bag of quarters. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Johnny, you're a martial artist. Just focus. The timing. You can do the math. You're Asian. 20 miles an hour, 3-pound bag of quarters. All you have to do is go and watch it gracefully land into her hands. So I'm like, all right, just time it out, Johnny, time it out. And I go, and I release. And if you've ever been in an accident, time slows down, right? And I pictured, when I tell this story, I pictured God was like upstairs and looking around and be, whoa! Let's record this one. Play it back in slow motion when he's dead. And so, there I am, 20 miles an hour, 3-pound bag of quarters, and I release them like, and I watch this 3-pound bag of quarters fly through the air, 20 miles an hour. 3 pounds worth of quarters in a Ziploc bag. smack her in the face. The bag rips open, quarters fall, glistening in the sunlight. She goes down, and all I could do is this. No! That's the only thing that I could think of to say. And from any other perspective, it's like a drive-by quartering. She goes down, quarters go everywhere, and I'm going so fast that when I turn the corner, I screech. It's like, and there's nowhere for me to turn around to see if she's okay, to see if she's alive. So I just kept driving, just feeling dirty and unclean and like such a jerk. So, as I mentioned, when I take that off-ramp all the time when I come home from work, always a homeless guy on the corner. The first time I ever saw a homeless woman on that corner. After that day, kid you not, no homeless people on that corner. Ever again. And so I can't help but wonder, like, what happened? Did she die? Do they all, like, talk about this crazy, like, quartering that happened?
Yeah.
You know, like, is this like the homeless people like are around the barrel fire, and then they're like, hey, where's Sally? Oh, you didn't hear? She's dead. Some guy killed her with quarters. So, yeah.
And the worst part is I never got to see her again to know. So to this day, she's
No idea. I don't know if I should put a white cross and some quarters on the. I don't know. I imagine, they tell their little homeless children the scary boogeyman quarter.
For what it's worth, your heart was in the right place.
Yeah. Well.
Your aim perhaps not, but
No, my aim was really good. Hit her right in the face.
That's it.
So anyways, that's my quarter story.
Well, on that note,
ladies and gentlemen, please.
Thank you guys.
Good job, young guys.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to have you here, sir. Thanks for the time.